maganda yan. Ang ganda ng...
Good evening, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, together with the Presidential Communications Office.
We bring you the latest, widest, and most comprehensive news coverage from the People's Television, IBC, Philippine News Agency, Philippine Information Agency, and Presidential Broadcast Service. I'm Princess Habiba Saripauda.
And I'm Joe Fernandez. We are from Radyo Pilipinas. Welcome to Balitang Pambansa.
Tonight's headlines. Several administration bets for Senator wooed voters in Bataan. Several House lawmakers came to the defense of President Marcos Jr. after he was accused by former President Duterte of becoming a dictator. Newly appointed Presidential Communications Office or PCO Chief ad interim Secretary Jay Ruiz reveals his plans and priorities for the agency. The Bureau of Internal Revenue or BIR destroys more than 2 billion pesos worth of cigarettes and machines in Pampanga.
Senatorial candidates from Partido Federal ng Pilipinas campaigned in Bataan today, seeking voter support ahead of the 2025 midterm elections. Meanwhile, candidates from Alianza para sa Bagong Pilipinas praised the Philippines' removal from the Financial Action Task Force Gray List, calling it a positive development for the country's financial standing. Our PTV's Daniel Manalastas tells us more.
Partido Federal ng Pilipinas senatorial bets ex-Senator Manny Pacquiao, Senate Majority Leader Francis Tolentino, and former DILG Secretary Ben-Hur Abalos courted voters in Bataan today as the local officers of the province threw their support for the senatoriables. Some PFP bets couldn't help themselves from turning emotional during their speeches.
Yan po ang iniwasan ko sa buhay ko na yung sabihin sa atin ng nanay natin, mga anak, pasensya na kayo. Yung time na yan, pag may makikita akong mga mahirap na tao sa buong Pilipinas, sa ating bansa, nasasaktan ako, kaya ko pang tumulong sa kanila, tulungan ko yung mga naghihirap na tao.
Ang pinakahuli, ang may warrant of arrest, si Pastor Apollo Kibuloy. Ayaw niyang sumuko. Hinanap namin siya, makita niyo sa video, 2,000 pulis ang napunta sa Davao City at nahuli namin si Pastor Apollo Kibuloy.
Bago po mag-adjourn ang Senado, naipasakop po namin yung Senate Bill 1699. Inaasahan ko pong pirmahan ito ni Presidente Marcos hanggang siguro second week of March. Pag napirmahan po ito, substantial discount po sa mga bata.
Pacquiao even went to the market to try to greet and meet the vendors and consumers.
Ang priority ko po, marami po ang priority. Una, yung pabahay nga po natin, pundo para sa mga sa libreng pabahay, sa mga mahirap. Pangalawa po, yung pundo para sa pagbibigay ng sustainable livelihood para sa mga mahirap. At ang gusto ko niyan, hindi ang national mag-implement, ang local i-download sa lokal. Kasi ang lokal nakakaalam kung sinong mga mahirap eh. Hindi naman ang national nakakaalam kundi ang lokal eh. Kailangan i-download sa kanila.
Well, some candidates from the Alianza para sa Bagong Pilipinas hailed the news of the Philippines being removed from the gray list of the Financial Action Task Force. Former Senator Panfilo Lacson said it is indeed a welcome development. Meanwhile, Representative Camille Villar called for a more active campaign to address the issue on teenage pregnancy in the country. For now, admin candidates continue to share their plans and platforms.
Nagkaroon ng agreement na lahat, bawasan natin, alisin natin, gawin natin 21 para makapagkampanya kung saan man nabalwarte. Tapos yung mga gusto pumunta sa mga OFW, may panahon na pumunta.
From PTV Manila, Daniel Manalastas, Balitang Pambansa.
The Commission on Elections, or COMELEC, released guidelines to regulate election surveys and debates in an effort to combat fake news ahead of the 2025 midterm elections. Under a newly issued resolution, survey firms must register with the poll body and adhere to legal standards in conducting surveys. The poll body clarified that the regulation is not meant to prohibit surveys but to curb fraudulent ones and ensure transparency in the rates of commission surveys, which could potentially influence voter reception. The guidelines do not cover surveys conducted by media organizations, religious groups, and other independent entities. While candidates are not required to participate in debates, event organizers must extend invitations to all candidates. COMELEC also warned that violations of these regulations could lead to election offense charges.
Gusto namin malaman sa report na kung magkano binayad, sino nagpa-komisyon, at sino ang nagbayad nito, ano ang ginamit na scientific methods. Failure to register is a ground for an election offense. Kaya kasama sa dapat i-report at sasabit sa amin ay kung sino yung mga opisyal ng mismong firm para kung sakaling may problema sa reporting nila, pwede namin silang kasuhan at balikan. Kapag hindi naman totoo talagang kinundak ang survey, o kaya naman talaga namang bogus yung survey organization, o kaya naman kaya lang nilabas yan dahil nga pumapabor kay ganito at bayad-bayad yun, yan po yung pakay po natin. Pero hindi po yung mga legitimate na mga survey firms and organization. Naniniwala po kami na gusto rin po naman nila na sila ay ma-regulate. Dahil yung iba kasi nakikipagkompetensya sa kanila, kaya siya mas mura, halimbawa, pagkatapos hindi naman pala totoo.
Malacanang dismissed former President Rodrigo Duterte's claims that President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. will not step down after his term and plans to declare martial law. Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin strongly criticized Duterte's statement. Our PTV Clazel Padilla has the details.
So ano pa ba ang ating i-expect sa dating Pangulong Duterte? Gumawa ng intriga? Magplanta ng ebidensya.
That is Malacanang's response to the claims made by former President Rodrigo Duterte against President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. The palace refuted Duterte's allegations against President Marcos Jr. point for point, including the claim the president will not step down once his term ends and instead declare martial law.
Anong ebidensya? Paano mapapatunayan? Hindi tayo pwedeng maniwala sa mga pang-iintriga lamang na walang ebidensya. Makikita natin ang paninira nila sa pamahalaan at sa Pangulo. So alam na natin kung saan ang punta nila. Gusto nila ulit makuha ang power, ang authority.
Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin earlier lambasted former President Duterte's statement and called it a new budol from one-man fake news factory. The administration remains steadfast in protecting the Constitution, upholding the Bill of Rights, and respecting civil and human rights. In a statement, Senate President Cheese Escudero also defended President Marcos Jr., emphasizing former President Duterte's claim is diametrically opposed to President Marcos's character and principles. The administration also dismissed Duterte's allegation that the Marcos family stolen and sold the country's gold reserves, causing the peso to weaken against the dollar. Malacanang questioned Duterte, is this meant to be a joke or just empty promises? Just as Duterte claimed he would ride a jet ski to the Spratly Islands to plant the Philippine flag and defend the nation's rights in the West Philippine Sea.
But anyway, we will take this seriously para naman hindi magkaroon ng fake news. Ayon sa BSP, ang pagbebenta ng gold is just a regular activity. How? Why? To pump up the economy. Even at the time of former President Duterte, trabaho na ito ng BSP. Hindi niya ba alam iyon? Solely managed by the BSP. So paano magkakaroon dito ng hand or pakikialam ang Pangulo?
The administration also did not overlook Duterte's attack, saying the illegal drug situation worsened in Davao, Manila, and Cebu.
Kung Davao City pinag-uusapan natin, sino ba ang mayor ng Davao City? Hindi ba yung anak niya? Si Mayor Baste Duterte. So ang ibig bang sabihin nun, napaka-inefficient ng anak niya? At least ngayon may record kung may namamatay. Nung panahon niya, merong bang nare-record doon sa mga biglang nawawalang?
From PTV Manila, Clazel Padilla, Balitang Pambansa.
Has anyone noticed how in 2.5 years in power, President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has not said any unkind word, let alone leveled false claims against the Aquinos or even against 2022 presidential rival Leni Robredo? more than enough proof that validates the president's character, diplomacy, and respect for those even on the other side of the political aisle. Armela Lesmoras has more on how Solons rushing to the defense of President against yesterday's barrage of false news from the vile mouth of the South in Cebu's Mandaue City.
Several House leaders dismissed former President Rodrigo Duterte's claim that President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. is turning into a dictator, calling Duterte and his allies a factory of fake news. According to House Deputy Majority Leader Paulo Ortega, instead of spreading false information and attacking others, the Duterte camp should just explain the issues they are involved in.
Pag hinold sila accountable ng tao, kakambyo naman sila na joke lang daw yun. Parang nagmumukha tuloy silang joke eh. So, ewan ko, parang ano bang tawag mo doon sa, hari na, father faker? Father ng mga fake news? Ganun, mother faker? Hindi ko alam kung paano tatawag natin sa kanila. Father faker, mother faker, o anong tawag sa mga anak nila? Fakerist?
For their part, House Assistant Majority Leader Zia Alonto Adjong and Ernix Dionisio also asserted that if anything, the president's traits are the complete opposite of a dictator. From his leadership to how he addresses issues, they emphasized that the chief executive remains kind and diplomatic.
Diktator ba yung minumura ka? Ang tatay mo sinasabi kung ano-ano tatanggalin, i-exhume, tapos itatapon sa West Philippine Sea. Itathreaten ang buhay mo, itathreaten ang wife mo, itathreaten ang Speaker of the House, ang nagkapinsan mo. Tapos every time nagkakaroon sila ng rally, ang pinakapunto nila isirain yung isang pagkatao. Hindi lang yung polisiya, pero yung pagkatao ng isang individual tulad ni President Bongbong Marcos. Tapos wala siyang ginagawa directly. He has all the power at his disposal and yet he has doing nothing. In fact, ang mga response niya is so diplomatic. Characteristic ba yun ng isang diktador? I don't think so.
Sa mga recent presidents ng bansa natin, I could easily say na si Pangulong Bongbong Marcos yata yung isa sa pinakamabait na eh. It's very far from being a dictator.
At the same time, lawmakers praised the administration's initiatives to further improve the state of the Philippines. They cited the country's removal from the Financial Action Task Force or FATF's gray list as proof of the government's effective measures. Meanwhile, in a statement, House Speaker Martin Romualdez also welcomed the expansion of benefits provided by PhilHealth, particularly the inclusion of outpatient emergency care in their benefit packages and the increase in case rate packages for critical illnesses. From PTV, Mela Lesmoras, Balitang Pambansa.
The palace dismissed former President Duterte's claim that the Marcos family sold the country's gold reserves, causing the peso to weaken. The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas or BSP clarified that selling gold is a regular activity to support the economy, a practice that also occurred during Duterte's presidency. The BSP emphasized that the gold reserves are solely managed by them and the president has no involvement in this process. Veteran journalist Jay Ruiz took his oath as the new Secretary of the Presidential Communications Office or PCO before President Marcos Jr. earlier today in Malacanang. Ruiz underscored that ensuring timely and accessible information for all Filipinos is his top priority, aiming to empower the public with knowledge and a deeper understanding of current events. As the new secretary, he pledged to implement government programs and projects effectively, particularly those designed to assist the country's poorest Filipinos, and vowed to combat the spread of misinformation and fake news. He was officially sworn in as the fourth PCO secretary under the Marcos Jr. administration, succeeding Cesar Chavez. With over 2 decades of experience as a journalist and anchor, Ruiz has also worked as a political and media consultant.
Ang gusto mo po ni Presidente ay maibigay ang mensahe at programa sa ating mga ordinaryong Pilipino. Ang gusto nating mangyari is malaman o maramdaman ng tao na ang gobyerno ay para sa tao. Marami pong mga programa na kinakailangan at malaman ng tao. Programa sa edukasyon, mga libreng pabahay, mga libreng, well, not necessarily but state-owned na pabahay para naman sa ating mga kapuspalad na mga kababayan. Kinakailangan po mapalapit ang gobyerno sa tao. Ang unang order po ng ating Pangulo ay dapat yung mensahe ng gobyerno ay malaman ng taong bayan.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. on Monday welcomed Palau President Surangel Whips Jr. During their bilateral meeting in Malacanang, the Philippines and Palau agreed to strengthen bilateral cooperation in fisheries, marine resource protection, and fight against illegal, unregulated, and unreported or IUU fishing. Another agreement involves a diplomatic note to Philippine training institutions, universities, and research facilities. Additionally, both countries signed a memorandum of understanding on policy consultations, establishing a framework for exchanging views on bilateral and regional cooperation.
I reaffirm the Philippines' commitment to working closely with Pacific nations in charting the future of the Pacific and our unyielding support to efforts to advance the resilience of our Pacific kin, which at the heart of the Philippine Pacific Initiative.
We must collaborate in navigating the geopolitical issues and pressures that we face, especially the existential threat that we faced with climate change. By standing united, we can overcome the challenges and build a brighter, more hopeful, and resilient future for our people. Let us move forward with purpose and solidarity.
In other news, more than 2 billion pesos worth of smuggled cigarettes was destroyed through thermal decomposition using a gasifier machine at a waste management facility in Porac, Pampanga. The Bureau of Internal Revenue, or BIR, led by Commissioner Romeo Lumagi Jr., spearheaded the activity alongside local government officials of Porac. According to the BIR, the total unpaid taxes on the illicit cigarettes, including penalties and surcharges, amounted to 6.4 billion pesos. Tax evasion cases have already been filed against those behind the illegal shipments. The destruction was carried out simultaneously across 19 revenue regions nationwide to combating smuggling and other illicit activities.
Siya ni Rodrigo Pescoso Jr. nga taga Lapog Villabisyo sa Abra. 50 years nga nagtatalo na kon. Kasi na po Diyos, sumod na ito, nakatulong kanya ng pabasa, kalagatiya, italungan anak ko. Kasi na po Diyos, nakagraduate namin ng college sen. Inuray mi iti 15 years nga naala dito nga titulo. Adumatan na itulong na dito yung dagang kwan. Nanganganan mi, pagmulmulaan mi tinateng, pagmulmulaan mi ti mais, inumami pa ti kabakiran ng pagmulaan ti pagay.
10 ARBs, including the Pescoso family, received e-titles for 5.9463 hectares from Tangbao, San Isidro, Abra.
Agyaman kami apo, Presidente Marcos, kin Secretary Estrella, iti daytang nga naitad kada kami nga titulo nga libre. Daytang nga titulo kat nakanakan kada kami. Ami nga problema na uti makagaw kada kami tapo kami daytang.
And we are back. Israeli envoy to the country, Ilan Floss, speaking from experience and the success of Israel's phenomenal agricultural and farming communities called kibbutzim, urged Filipinos to pursue a path toward careers in agriculture and avail of a truly invaluable offer to immerse themselves in a year-long internship program in the Holy Land. PIA Central Luzon correspondent Trexie Manalili tells us more.
Israeli Ambassador to the Philippines, His Excellency Ilan Floss, encouraged young Filipinos to take the career path of agriculture and avail his country's internship program. Mashav, Israel's Agency for International Development Cooperation, provides an 11-month agricultural internship program to students to equip them with the modern agricultural toolset and knowledge that they could later on implement in their home countries.
And what we wanted is actually encourage more of the youth here and the graduates of the university to go to Israel for an internship program, because we believe that in order to deal with the issue of the agricultural productivity and food security in the Philippines, it's really through capacity building and changing the mindset of the farmers and doing things differently. And the best way to do it is by such programs.
Plus added that the promotion of smart agriculture among young Filipinos addresses the aging crisis in farming and agriculture in the country. From the Philippine Information Agency Central Luzon, Trixie Manalili for Balitang Pambansa.
Meanwhile, to enhance security operations, improve the mobility and operational readiness of law enforcement, the Philippine National Police, or PNP, has turned over 41 new patrol vehicles to the local government units of Lanao del Sur. Ali Oxenia of the Philippine Information Agency Region 10 tells us more.
The Philippine National Police turned over 41 new patrol vehicles to the Police Regional Office, Bangsamoro Autonomous Region, marking a significant milestone in improving the mobility and operational readiness of law enforcement in Lanao del Sur. The vehicles, which are all-terrain 4x4 personnel carriers, were procured with the support of the Department of Budget and Management.
Sa pamamagitan po ng mga vehicles na ito, mas mapapaigting natin ang pagpatupad ng mandato ng ating mga kapulisan na itaguyod ang kapayapaan, kaayusan at kapakanan ng bawat bayan.
We are privileged to receive these 41 additional personnel carrier vehicles, 40 of which dito po sa Lanao del Sur. This is a significant boost to our mobility and operational readiness.
Local chief executives from across the province also attended the turnover ceremony, underscoring the importance of the new patrol vehicles in strengthening collaborative efforts between law enforcement and local government units. From Philippine Information Agency Region 10, Ali Oxenia for Balitang Pambansa.
A total of 875 youths successfully graduated from the La Union Police Provincial Officers Police Community Academy in San Fernando City, La Union on February 21, completing months of training aimed at fostering leadership, discipline, and civic responsibility. Kathleen Ramones from the Philippine Information Agency, La Union, tells us more.
The PCA program, first launched in Bawang in 2018, is a flagship initiative of the Police Regional Office 1, which is designed to engage and educate young individuals aged 12 to 22 in crime prevention, disaster preparedness, law enforcement awareness, and civic duties. Over the years, it has expanded across the Ilocos region, training more than 3,500 students and strengthening police community relations. Before their graduation, the participants underwent a PCA boot camp, the program's final and most intensive activity. The boot camp reinforced practical skills such as leadership, teamwork, emergency response, and community policing, allowing the participants to experience first-hand training on maintaining peace and order. During the graduation ceremony, the 875 graduates were awarded the Bagwis Badge, a symbol of discipline, commitment, and civic engagement.
Sana ipagpatuloy po natin ito dahil ito po ay isang proyekto ng initiative ng PNP para mapalapit ang mga kabataan natin sa magandang tuntunin ng gobyerno.
Meanwhile, Justin Marco Villar, one of the youth leader participants from LGU Burgos, said PCA equipped him with essential skills like first aid, firearm handling, and police procedures, helping him become a more responsible citizen. Cultivating leaders, empowering communities. From the Philippine Information Agency, La Union, Kathleen Ramones, Balitang Pambansa. According to Pagasa's weather forecast, northeast monsoon will affect the Luzon,
Due to the northeast monsoon, Visayas, Caraga, Albay, Sorsogon, Masbate, Davao Oriental, and Davao de Oro will experience cloudy skies with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms, while cloudy skies with light rains will fall in Cagayan Valley, Cordillera Administrative Region, Aurora, and Quezon. Metro Manila and the rest of Luzon may encounter partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated light rains. Meanwhile, the rest of Mindanao will experience partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated rain showers or thunderstorms due to the easterlies.
And that wraps up our rundown of the latest, widest, and most comprehensive news and information from all across the nation. From Radyo Pilipinas, I'm Joe Fernandez.
5 nights and it is Ramadan. This is your trusted news source, always ready to inform and serve the Filipino people. Catch Balitang Pambansa again tomorrow at 7 a.m., 12 noon, 6 p.m., and 9:30 p.m. for more updates and developments. From Radyo Pilipinas, I'm Princess Abiba Saripaudak, and this is
Balitang Pambansa.